All right, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, I'm so glad you came to join us. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's always nice to see the familiar faces. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos on legal technology talk. So last week we had the awesome opportunity of having Wouter here with DecisionVault, and I hope you found that to be a really good use of your time. This week we had a little bump in schedule. So we are going to cover accessories or ancillary programs that will really just make your life easier. And I am going to turn it over to Beth to make your day easier.
Okay. So like John said, we're going to cover like some of the things that the little yeah, accessory programs is kind of what they are. They're not your main program, but a lot of them are very beneficial and very helpful. The first one we're going to talk about is Zapier. And this is our Zapier where we play. So you can kind of see that there's a lot of things in here playing around. And some of the things that Zapier can do for you is it can really assist your automated system, and it can provide automation to some systems that are not as automated. So let's start with the things it can't do. Your automated system can do things like last week we talked, we had Wouter here and he was talking about DecisionVault. DecisionVault talks to Lawmatics very well. What you can do in Lawmatics is you can have it check like 5 days before the consultation, and if they haven't submitted their Decision Vault form yet, it can remind them to do that. Like it can check that for you. Zapier can't do that. Um, but what it can do is it can send information to someone when they have scheduled a consultation. Like it can send an email with links to things. It can do all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. So, those are like some of the things that a non-automated system would be able to use um, Zapier for. So, if we have an automated system like Lawmatics, then what do we need Zapier for? Well, while it integrates with a lot of things, there's some things that it doesn't integrate with. And a big one is workshop registrations and your marketing teams. So if your marketing team is, and you hire someone like Bambiz, um, and they're just one of many, and they're doing your advertising on like Facebook or whatever else, and they're bringing in people and registering people for a workshop. They have their own system that does that. What Zapier can do is can take that information from their system and put it into your Lawmatics for you so that you don't need to manually enter all of those people. It is the link between things, and it makes programs talk to each other. Um, the other things that it can do a lot of other things in Lawmatics. This is kind of what it's doing like from Bambiz. It uses a webhook. So we make sure the webhook is literally just a hook. It goes out and it says, oh, this information was entered in this program. I'm going to grab it. And then we just submit that into Lawmatics. And then it's taken care of. It's into your Lawmatics already. And then the automation Lawmatics can take over from there. So some of the things that we can do with this is you can tie it into other things that you're using. So a good way is just to go into Zapier and see if they have a link to whatever it is you're using. The biggest one is workshop registrations, webinar registrations. There's people that have an on-demand webinar that people can go to, but you want to verify that they've seen like a certain percentage of that. So those programs that feed that information back, if they have the ability to link back into Zapier, you can then tell it to mark it in their matter that they have watched a certain amount of time of that video or whatever else, whatever kind of limits you want to put on that. So it is very powerful. It can do all sorts of fun things that way. And as you can see, we use it. So, John, you want to say kind of what you have because you use those apps in our system more than I do. So, you're muted. We can't hear you. There you go.
Zoom is getting smart. If I try to talk, it said you're muted. Yeah, do you want to scroll down a little bit so we can see all the ones
Sure.
I built? So mine are pretty basic, but they really help me. Because Beth and I, even though we're business partners, we have very different things that we do for our consulting firm. So you can see I have all these things where the labels aren't correct anymore. I've updated it. Like notify via text message for accepted proposal. I actually set up a whole section in Microsoft Teams where it notifies me there now. So I can go and address that. Or when somebody schedules a discovery meeting, which in a law firm would be a consultation, I get a notification right away so that if I need to process something, I can do it right away to really engage with new leads. Um, or when a contract is signed, I can address that. People send us project request forms, and I don't want those to go by the wayside. If somebody downloads a goal calculator, this is a really interesting one because on our website, we have a couple downloads of calculators, and that's the goal calculator and the automated case studies calculator. That is a Lawmatics form that feeds in and it puts a tag just so I can get an idea of how well, people are responding to these tools that we're putting out. This one is me being in my personality test. I am a librarian. I collect information, even information that is unnecessary. So I get notified when those are downloaded because I am a librarian. Um, when somebody subscribes to our website, that's my librarian brain. Beth would never put something like that on her notifications. If we get a support ticket, I get notified. We don't use Zendesk anymore, but we do that through Lawmatics. But I do it mostly to really take it off where I have to keep checking things, where an automation might not kick off right away or do everything that needs to be done. So I get notified so I can address that right away. So it's really picking up the minimal slack that might be in Lawmatics that it's just not quite finishing. So I can wrap that up. Um, it's not really passing data around or anything like Beth was explaining. Mine is for notification purposes, which in a role when I was a client service coordinator, this would have helped me so much when we were doing our online bookings to be notified of things and really stay on top of it that way because technology has come a long way since we worked in the estate planning law firm. Do you want to comment any more on those, Beth?
Yeah, so a lot of times people I was looking down through here a little bit and we have like a phone call log and things like that. So a lot of times when you have things that you're used to using, and yeah, we want to get you away from that and away from using that, but you're used to having this stuff on a spreadsheet. You can actually zap things over to a spreadsheet. So you can still keep your spreadsheet, and some people like to keep it as a double check, but it just runs and zaps the stuff over there, and you have a spreadsheet of the information you want at any time. And it's funny because I was just looking at that and realized that I can use that to solve a problem that I've been trying to figure out for a while. So it's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, it has a lot of opportunity and it ties in with so many different things. So you can go into your app connections and you can like go to you can see like what all apps are in here. Actually, yeah, that's there is a search in there, but you can pretty much put any letter in there and it'll give you a whole list of everything. You can go on and it does have an AI feature to help you write this. So you can say, I want to create a new Zap. And it's funny because it now connects to Microsoft To-Dos, which is going to be interesting. I have something new to play with. But you can
I
go
was
to
going
a
to say, I
Zap.
was looking for that one the other day and it didn't have it. That's awesome.
It's there now. So what can we help you automate? Like I can say, create a task in, let's just try it. Because why not? And it'll do its thing and it may come out exact. Sometimes it goes, I don't know how to do that. Like, so, excuse me. So I'm like, oh, okay, we'll go do it. But it'll go and it'll suggest that outline and suggest what to do to build this Zap for you. Um, and it's learning. It does more and more every time. But yeah, those are, see, there it is. Tells me how to do it. And it'll do that for me. Yeah. So you can build all kinds of things with this. There is a little bit to it, and please, if you have any questions on it or anything, we can answer those questions. There's sometimes that uh, some people make it more complicated than it needs to be, and sometimes there's ways to do it. Zap does charge you by the task, so your trigger here is not a task, but the action that it takes is a task. And sometimes there's ways to put those all into one task so it saves you and you don't need to pay as much for it. But it is really inexpensive for the power it does. Most teams only need like the $20 a month pro plan to handle their workshop registrations coming in. Um, some of the firms that we've talked to, we're talking about 10 hours of somebody's time. You're paying $20 and that happens for $20. So you've now freed up 10 hours of somebody's time handling that. So yeah, it is a big accessory. It's a big help. Okay, so now the next one that you've probably seen in our meetings is Fyxer. So Fyxer is actually in a lot of our it goes through and it has our meetings in it. It records calls so I can, look at calls. I can do all kinds of things with that. It has settings in there and it has email categorization. Now, I can't show you a lot of that stuff because obviously there's confidential information in there, but I can show you this. Um, the best thing that I love about it is the email part of it. And I had John send me an email this morning. And this is the email that he sent me. And he asked me, how do I adjust my online workshop form in Lawmatics? I need to add phone number field. This is the draft that Fyxer drafted for me. It is correct. It tells exactly how to do that. Now, how did it know that? Well, because it has seen enough of the meetings that I've done with people where I'm showing them how to do that. Is it on all the time? No, it's not. Sometimes it's like way off, and I'm like, no, that's not how we do that. And you have to rewrite it. Sometimes it'll give you two options. If somebody asks you, can you do this for me? Here's what it's been coming up with for me. It's been giving me two options. Yes, I can do that. You can schedule a meeting with me. We can discuss it. And then option two is no, I don't have time in my schedule to do that right now. Um, yeah, but it says it a lot nicer than that. But yes, it can get you the base of a draft to respond to and get you that information. This right here, I would have just, if this was a real question, I would have need to just look at this and go, yep, this was correct. Send. Half the time it would have taken me to type it out. So yes, it is huge in that. It also marks the emails like ones that are need responded to, ones that has learned that my subscriptions out of Lawmatics of reports that they need to be categorized a certain way, and it sticks them all in a category for me. It does those types of things. The other thing it does is it will, he also sent me an email that was, sorry, I didn't open that email actually. Um, he sent me this email and, says we're new or a small law firm looking for legal practice, looked at Lawmatics. How can I get on your when can I get on your calendar? So it then drafted this. Um, it tells them when I'm available. If these don't work, I have a broader availability. It tells my availability. You can use my scheduling link here. That is the correct scheduling link. It pulls and puts that in there. In my own email, it sends me this and shows me my calendar and sees when I have it available. So it looks at all of that. I have had it, I have one where we have three people on that email in three different companies, and they it'll come up and it'll look at everybody's calendar and say, these are the times that everybody is available. Like it is amazing. So yes, it can really help out with that. And again, it records meetings. It'll send you a synopsis of the meeting, and it will automatically draft an email for you to send to attendees of the meeting, and it'll break down to-dos. Like if you've said in that meeting, you're going to do this, I'm going to do this, it'll lay it out who said they were going to do what. It is very intuitive that way. And again, if you're in Lawmatics and you're sending that email to a client after a meeting, that email is going to go into the matter. So you're going to have that record of it in the matter.
Beth, can I highlight two quick things on this?
Sure,
The
please do.
two the other things I love is that it absolutely transcribes word for word like a movie script of who said what. So you can pull that up at any time in this account. Um, and it gives you just an overall summary and it groups it by topic. Like if you talked about workshop forms in two different spots in your meeting, it's going to group that together and say workshop forms and then summarize that topic in one.
Yep.
And then, of course, preparing that email. But the other thing that I think is really underrated are these categories. It's really good at categorizing. And if it misses, you just fix it. And then it learns that. Because when I start my day, I start with marketing. I just click on the marketing category and it's in your email. So you don't come to Fyxer for this. It puts these categories in your email. I just click on marketing and I'm like, okay, is there any newsletters I want to read? Anything like that? And I go delete, 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 or read. Now I've cleared all the marketing stuff out. Then I go to my FYIs. If somebody has just sent me something to know, I address it if I need to, and then I clear those out. Then I can get to the meat of my emails. So those categories I think are really underrated in how they're presented, even when Fyxer presented it to me, of how really powerful they are. And again, that's Fyxer, Fyxer.
And these are the little tags that it puts in the mail. Like this was John's email from this morning. His came up as a notification. Some of my stuff comes up as the marketing stuff comes up with a pink tag like this for marketing. I know those are marketing emails, so I can go down through and skim those very quickly.
And if there's one called to respond, it drafts the
Mhm.
email for you.
Correct.
And then
Yep.
you can modify it if you want. Cool. All right.
It is
That's
very
Fixer.
cool.
That's one of our favorite new tools. We've only been using it for about a month, I think, Beth, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I I really do depend on it though. It is one of the best ones. Okay, so we've you've seen some of the presentations we've done with Prezi, and I'm gonna touch real quickly on Prezi, but also working with Gemini or ChatGPT, either one of them. I'm just going to tell Gemini to write me an outline for a 20-minute presentation because we're going to see how good it does. And oh, look, it's telling me how I need to do this. It's giving me information. Um, it's giving me all this stuff. So it can give me my outline. Now, I would never just take this and use it because obviously there's spots in here that says, discuss the importance and mention the need and, yeah, I need to put information in there. However, just for fun today, we're just going to take this and we're just going to grab it. Grab all of this information that it just gave us very quickly and copy that. And then we're going to go to Prezi. We're going to say we want to create this with AI. Prezi presentations are very visually appealing and they keep attention. They're different than just a PowerPoint where you're just moving slides and things. So tell me about your topic right here. Um, um, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Hold on. I need to create a new presentation. And it'll give me all of my ones that I can use with AI. And we're gonna use this Blue Waves one just because it's fun. Use it with AI. Um, and now I'm gonna put all of my in. I'm gonna paste that Gemini gave me. Or if I have it in a PDF file, I can paste it there. We're just gonna generate this and see what it gives us. Because then you can take this and adjust it and it's taking that just putting that hook and attention grabber in there. Um, the cool thing that it will do is if it is asking if one of in one of mine I said about a statistic and looking at the statistics and I had that in my outline because I'll go through and I'll write out my outline. I had that in my outline. I with the intention of going and looking up that current statistic. Prezi actually did it and put the current statistic in there. Like, and I went and verified it, and it was correct. It was the right statistic. So it went in here and it did all of this, and it created this for me. It created a name. It gave me a subtitle. It
And pictures.
and pictures and grab, so I don't have to worry about grabbing pictures that are copyrighted. It has all that in it. Um, Yeah, and you can go through each of the ones. It goes back to your overview. What are our key benefits of automation? I'm going to see if it grabbed. Yeah, yeah. Automated document assembly can cut drafting time by up to 50% while scheduling tools. So it's really putting a lot of stuff in there. So you can take this and create a presentation. Sorry, I'm trying to get over a cold and it just won't doesn't want to leave. So you can take this and create a presentation, create an outline, what you want to talk to people about, and let it create this for you. And it is then available. You can present it. You can share it directly. It does have the option of exporting it into a um, into a presentation on its own. You can present it on your screen and record it to make a webinar with it. You can do all those kinds of things. It is a lot of fun and it saves a lot of time in setting up presentations.
I think we need to
Um,
clarify this is not a replacement for you doing legwork. It is a
no,
tool to make it easier.
correct.
Like if you are absolutely stuck on what to do in your presentation, go ahead and start in Gemini or ChatGPT, and put that in there. Let it give you an outline and then start hacking it to get rid of your brain freeze. Um, because I promise if you pull it out of ChatGPT, put it in here and present it, you're almost every time going to say, that has nothing to do with this topic.
Right.
So you have to proofread it. AI is not perfect by any means, but it is an amazing, amazing tool. And don't be afraid to use anything AI because all these platforms are implementing it, such as Prezi. You saw Zapier has AI now. Active Campaign will build campaign flows using AI now. So don't be afraid of it, but don't fully trust it to be a final product.
No, absolutely not. But what this can do for you is, I know for me myself, if I was going to be setting up this presentation on this topic in this thing, it would take me hours. It would take me, 45 minutes to an hour to draft that whole outline of what I wanted to cover. That's if I don't get writer's block and can't think of the next thing I want to do. Where I can give Gemini a basic outline, give it a little more information than I gave it here, and say, here, write me an outline. And then I can take that outline and refine it. Now I've taken that hour down to probably about 30 minutes. I can then take that and instead of going into um,
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint and spending 4 hours creating this PowerPoint that'll do what I want it to do and going and finding pictures and do like all of this stuff, I can just drop my whole outline into Prezi in minutes, have it, spend 20 minutes to a half an hour editing it. I've saved myself 4 hours. So that's the kind of use that it can grab for you. But like
And
John
the
said, absolutely.
professionalism
Yeah.
in the presentation where when you can see how it was just really professionally moving from slide to slide. um, you don't have to find animations and make them work anymore. It's going to do this really cool pass through with different templates that you want. And it just looks professional. Work
Yeah.
smart, not hard.
Absolutely.
And Beth, what is our go-to phrase?
Let a computer do what a computer can do, and a human do what only a human can do.
Yep. Cool. This is a fun one.
Yeah. And our last one is one that doesn't integrate with Lawmatics currently, but it does integrate with some others, and it is also good to like use on its own. And that is WiseTime. There's a couple different ones. What they do is they track what you do during the day. So they track what you do like on your computer. They're not following you around, but they're tracking what you're doing on your computer and they're giving you a list of what you did. Now, what does that do for you? Especially if you're a billing firm, um, it's just going to keep a track of what you did. You can go back over then and see for the day and go, oh, I didn't bill for that. I forgot to bill for that. I need to go do that. Like it gives you a list of what you did. And it's more I'm going to say concise than looking at your calendar is because your calendar is not tracking emails you sent, phone calls you did, things like that, where something like Wise Time does. And yeah, that is a really powerful tool for that, for tracking what you're doing in your system.
And to be clear, also, this doesn't just say you were in your email box. It'll say
Correct.
you emailed Nancy between these times. You emailed Fred here. You had this Word document open for this long and it was active for this long. That's what it's breaking down because it's coming out of the scope of your database and now it's looking at your computer as a whole.
Right. And it's telling you how long it took you to write that email. Now, if you open the email to write it and go to the bathroom, it's going to be a little long, but it will tell you like how long it took you to write that email and stuff, so you can get that idea of what you actually should be billing. But yeah, okay, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yep, these were our fun tools. We love working in databases, but some of this, it's kind of the geek in us that gets us
Mm.
outside of the database to make it do other things and really expand um, the productivity and stress relief when you're sitting at your desk. So, all right, we are going to go into Q&A, but before I stop the recording, definitely stay for Q&A. But before we stop the recording, next week, Gavel drafting is going to be here. They integrate with a lot of platforms. It's just an external drafting program that can grab information from databases, from DecisionVault, I believe, all these different things to really make your drafting easier and stop the double, triple, quadruple entry to draft the documents that you want. So they have been so gracious. They're going to come and present that platform to you so you can see another option. If you are in Hot Docs still, I absolutely encourage you to please come and see this in action. So I'm going to stop the recording and let's go into Q&A.